Hello, I'm Quinn Keon.
And I'm Rich Smith, and this is
Real Hunting.
Welcome to Real Hunting. I'm Rich Smith.
And I'm Quinn Keon.
This video is an entire hunting season, both archery and firearm, in Michigan.
The concept behind this video was simply a couple of real guys hunting real game in the real woods. And what we mean by that is no fences, no game ranches, 100% fair chase game living here in Michigan. Most of the land that we're hunting on is actually state-owned or public land, which means that anything that we're doing, you can do too.
We start this video hanging tree stands prior to archery season.
Yeah, check it out. Here we go.
It's a lot harder than people think.
Yeah, it is, especially when you're dealing with a chain. You know, if I was dealing with a strap, you just pull it tight, fold it down, I'm done. It only takes a couple minutes, but the chain is painful.
So what do you got for sign here, Quinn?
Huh?
What do you got for sign?
Well, exactly what I was hoping for this year. I've got a good acorn crop, good mast crop as properly termed. Not only do I have good acorns, I hunted this area last year and saw a couple different bucks, nothing close enough to shoot at, coming from different directions, you know, all centering around this point. And this year we got a really nice, heavily beat down trail right at the bottom, down where it's a little lower topography here. And not only does that trail come through here, right on the edge of the swamp, it also is right on the edge of where these oaks are, and it looks like they've been feeding quite a bit on these acorns, so we're pretty optimistic about this one.
All right.
Tell me what we got going on here.
Well, this is the spot last year that I shot that nice 7-point premature buck. I had thought when I first was going to come out here today I'd end up in an oak tree back over there, but there's no denying, when if you pan to your right there's no denying the stuff that's going on over here where I left the mineral block last year. Definitely they're coming back to this spot, so I ended up back up in the same tree again. Quinn was nice enough to cut down some of the foliage on this side over here, so I have 2 extra shot lanes this year.
It's not a very big tree. How do you feel about that?
Well, last year when it was windy, I caught some wind, I had to hang on. But for the most part, it doesn't get too windy. There's enough shelter through here that's not so bad. It's patient enough, you're going to end up having a shot. You just got to wait them out. Don't get the jitters when they stare at you because they're just trying to see what's going on.
All right, we got some really good scrape activity already, and we're pushing, what's today, September 16th? 18th. September 18th, we got great scrape activity to the north of us up in the oaks. Good acorns this year. And then back here in the swamp, we got a nice trail and quite a bit of rub activity that we're finding, so we wanted to show you some of that. Pretty decent size foliage that we're rubbing on. This trail's kind of fun because it goes right back to Rich's stand, which is about 100 yards from here, so hopefully he'll get a shot at a buck. Most of the deer around here, most of the bucks are going to be 1.5-year-old deer. They just are. There's a few 2.5s, very few 3.5s. There's a lot of deer in this area, but they all get hunted. There's a lot of pressure. Rich found this piece of ground a couple years ago, and we set some stands up today. And we came by this scrape this morning. It had been worked up. There was damp soil. You could see where the buck had peed in it, you know. He'd peed down here, and now 3 hours later we're coming back by it, and it's dried up. So that was fairly fresh. That's a good sign. It's already got a licking branch broken down here, and fairly fresh also, as you can see that the leaves are still green on it and still alive. So we got some activity in here. There's about 4 scrapes right around the corner of this field, and this is a neat piece because there's a lot of oaks back in here, then there's a lot of big swamp behind it, and then out behind me, as you can see, there's a nice grassy field area and some agricultural land. There's some corn and some beans this year, so there's a lot for the deer. There's a lot of habitat here for them.
Okay, today's September 18th. Quinn and I just finished hanging our stands back there in the woods on the edge of the swamps there. We come out here to investigate the edge of the property because we believe, or we've read a little bit on staging areas and stuff. So we're trying to find a good staging area out here. This is our second year, actually this is our third year out here at this area, so we're still trying to explore the area, see what we can find. We come across a couple nice rubs. There's this one here, another one right next to it there. One across from that one, and one up top by the edge of the field there. So we got 4 total rubs in this one little area. A couple of good scrapes back here. Lots of good signs. So we know they're moving through here probably early in the morning. We're set up where we're at back there is an early morning hunt. So what we're hoping for is what we're set up for. Because we know they like to move through the agriculture in the first part of the morning and then get back into the woods by midday before they bed down. So looking good. Lots of good sign for this year. We're pumped. We're ready to go. So we'll give it a try, see what happens.
We just took about maybe 15 steps from where Rich was just talking to you, and my heart went BAM! Because I get that. We got this rub here, and this guy's really torn into this tree. Really torn into it. But aside from that, then we look on the ground. And look at this. The mother of all scrapes out here, man. Look at this scrape. Okay, September 18th we are already, and we're getting this kind of scrape activity. We're thrilled. What I saw last year hunting out here was I'm in the same location I was last year, and what I had last year is early morning, right at the crack of light, deer would move from the agricultural area out here back into the woods, back into the swamps. And where I'm set up, I'm on the edge of a swamp, and I'm under some oaks that are dropping some acorns, and I'm hoping for that early morning hunt where I can get that deer in there, 7:30, 8 o'clock, it's just cracking light, and hopefully get a good shot at something. But when I see scrapes like this, I get fired up. Started the day with our half-mile walk to get to this point, and not wanting to carry our ladder sticks and our stands, I used a deer cart that I bought last year. I'm not going to say what brand of cart this is because I don't want to bash on anybody, but I can tell you the only thing we've done with this cart is haul 2 stands and 2 ladders at once 2 times. We used it 1 time last year up in Mackinac County, and we had to pull it about a half mile, and here we pulled it about a half mile again, and the wheel already failed on it. This baby broke right off. So we were a little discouraged about that this morning because we wanted to save a little bit of our shoulder strength and back strength for further in when we were actually hanging the stands. So now we got to carry this mother all the way back to the road half a mile, and it's not light,
It's heavy.
Supposedly designed to handle a deer, I mean, even if we're shooting, a 180-pound deer, I mean, if we got something that big, this cart is not going to hold up. I'm very disappointed with this product, but, that's real hunting.
Okay, we made it. It's opening morning.
Yeah, I was so excited. That's some of the best rub and scrape activity that I've seen in a very long time.
We were fortunate enough that our schedules allowed us to not only scout together, but also hunt together opening morning.
All right, so here we are out by the road. You can hear the traffic noise behind us. We got a half-mile hike back into my stand. Rich has to go 3/4 of a mile. Opening morning, we're pumped even though the weather sucks. We're still going to go see what we can see. I'm not going to bring a camera out with me today because it is going to start raining probably before it's even light enough to shoot. Okay, made it into my stand. Kicked a few deer around back in here, unfortunately, this morning. Did not want to do that, but they're in here eating the acorns, so there's nothing I could do about it. Thinking about putting my raincoat on, but I don't know. It's noisy and it's not raining yet. So I think maybe I'll wait, take my chance in the light. Crazy, insane rain out here this morning. It's about 8:45. I can't take it anymore. I'm soaked. It's been downpouring since 6:50 this morning. I'm going to trim a couple small branches that I didn't trim the other day that I think will open things up for me. So, it's bad.
Well, it's 9:30 and we're back to the vehicles. Got in there at about 6:30 like we wanted to this morning, and heard a nice one coming behind me, walking. Of course, it's still dark, you couldn't see anything. And I'm waiting for daylight, and then waiting, and all of a sudden it starts pouring down rain. So we got pretty wet today. Got a little frustrated with the rain, so we come out. about half an hour earlier than we normally do. So did see a doe and a yearling come through on my side. Never heard them because it was raining so hard, but did see that. And one walking in this morning with the flashlight, seen a nice male. Couldn't tell how big he was, but there's deer out there. We just got to catch them at the right time. So I'm wet. I'm gonna go dry out.
I got down about 20 to 9. I trimmed a few branches and headed out. And I was creeping out to the edge of the grassy area, the big field out there, and all of a sudden I see a buck start running. And I couldn't really tell how big he was. He was running head up. I could see that he had antlers, and he just got behind some other foliage that's out there, and I couldn't see it. So I reached for my walkie-talkie to see if Rich was around, because I thought it might be heading towards him, and a bigger buck comes out and stood out there. Pretty nice looking. Definitely had a main beam on it. I can't say how big he was. I don't know. He was a good 250 yards out, but could definitely see nice antler growth from that range. So a couple of them around. Maybe tomorrow it won't be as wet. We can get out here in the morning, try it again. I got acorns down everywhere around my stand. I mean, it's just littered with acorns, just like I wanted. So that might be better in the evening, but I can't hit the evening till Friday. So.
Okay, today is October 2, 2007. Much nicer than yesterday. We had about 6 days ago, we had a full moon, and we had 3/4 of a moon last night, so you know they were up running around all night. But today we've got cloud cover. It's pretty dark out here. It quit raining, and it's quiet, nice and quiet.
Except for the truck that just went by.
Yeah, except for that. But we're headed in quite a ways back in, so that's not gonna matter.
Okay, day 2. I'm on stand. Made it out here very quietly. Everything is very wet. It's very dark. It's kind of foggy. I really doubt there were any deer moving in the past few hours, so hopefully once light breaks a little bit, we'll catch something this morning. I just got out of the woods and came out here to the field. Came out here yesterday and saw 2 bucks quite a ways out take off. They spotted me first. Today I saw 3 deer come off the woods behind me over there, probably 400 yards away. Looked like probably a mom and 2 yearlings. Headed across into the weedy area, so I decided I'd try to sneak on them. I got down into a low spot and gained some ground, but once I got my head above where I could see, I didn't see them anymore. I'm gonna look along the edge of the woods on this side, see if there's any more rub or scrape activity that's fresh. There's 3 scrapes back by me that all got freshened up early this morning, probably before I got in here. I was walking around the front corner of this woods here and heard a big thump on the ground, something bigger than an acorn. A piece of corn fell out of the tree. Squirrel must have stashed it up there for later. This front edge of this woods perplexes me because there's a lot of good old rub activity in here. See if we can see some of it.
but no new rub activity. Last year there was corn planted all the way over to the edge of this woods, and it's pretty thick. It's a lot of small growth, and I don't know why they're not using it. They're coming through here like I would expect them to, you know. Corner of the woods right by the cornfield, you'd think maybe they'd come out, but this whole edge doesn't have any sign on it at all. Old sign, but nothing new. So anyway, watch out for falling corn when you're in the woods.
Alright, well, today we had some cloud cover. It was nice and quiet this morning. A little bit cooler, still pretty warm though. 58 degrees is warm for deer hunting. Thought we would have a better morning. Got back there about a half an hour before daylight, and about 8 o'clock this morning, about an hour after daylight, I had a very small yearling come in, probably born this year, and made my first mistake this year. I assumed behind it was the mom coming. So I had kept my hands in my pocket, my bow was hanging in the tree, and in walks the 5-point behind this little yearling. And of course there I am stuck. I got 2 sets of eyes there on the ground, so I had no chance to get my bow. I tried, but he spotted me, come in, and he enjoyed the minerals we have set out there, and then took off. He was there about 2 minutes, and I never had a chance to grab my bow. So first mistake this year, but guarantee it's not happening again.
I hunted this spot several times last year and never saw any deer out here. The reason that I hunted it is because I came out and while walking these old fence rows in these fields, I was constantly finding rubs like this. And if you look around here behind me, well, there's some fresh ones from this year, but the ones from the past, I mean, these trees are just torn up through this fence row. Did find dead deer out here last year, a big 5x3 8-point that looked like probably got shot during the youth hunt in September and wasn't recovered. And then I did talk to another guy last year that got a very large 9-point out of this same area. So I don't know exactly what it is, but there's something about the habitat here that seems to appeal to the older deer, and they probably push the younger ones out once it's time. And some of the rubs behind me indicate that there may be a pretty good sized buck around again, so we might have to give this one a shot. Well, we keep showing you lots of exciting deer sign out here, but we're neglecting to show you some of the exciting human sign that we're finding also, which is always a pleasurable experience on state land. Like here, for example, we could make 10 cents with this find. Not only does it show us that humans have been here, but it also has a value. Remember, kids, alcohol and firearms don't mix. We're seeing some really, really great deer sign out here, but you just told me that there's no way that you will hang a stand out here and hunt. So why don't you tell everybody why that is?
Well, this is the first time I've been down in this area since 2005. When I got out of the Air Force, Quinn had offered to give me a hand in a hunting spot. So we found a good area down the road, about what, half a mile or something like that. And nice, right on the creek area. Got my tree stand set up. We were a week and a half before opening day, and I come out opening morning, shine my flashlight up there, and my tree stand's gone. My ladder's gone. Everything's gone. Not even the tape, the camo tape that I wrapped around there, everything was gone. So I had a pretty bad experience out in this area. This is a really nice piece of property right here. Very nice. We see a lot of rubs, a few scrapes back there. Beautiful, beautiful property. But the people out here just, it's frustrating. Too many people. And now it's you either fight for your spot and hurry up and get there before this guy does, type of thing. And it's just not a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I ended up finding a spot north of here that you have to hike into quite a ways to get into, but I think the more willing people are to hike, the better personality that they may have. So at least that's what I've come across anyway. So I'm sticking with north of here. Quinn's still scouting around, checking out what he needs to check out, and nice piece of property, but you can have it. Too many people.
Okay, October 4th, I'm on stand. Rich is not with me today. Again, we're just a couple of real guys doing real hunting.
lucky enough to be able to come out this morning. And it's beautiful out here. Completely still. Got on stand very quietly. Had a bunch of leaves I had to clear off my platform, but I took my time and I didn't make very much noise at all. So I'm optimistic that I'm going to see some deer today, and hopefully I'll be able to get the video rolling and you can see them too. Well, it's about 10 minutes to 10. I have seen 0 deer this morning. It's pretty discouraging. About 9:30 I heard a stick break over here and thought maybe something was coming, but it was a human. A couple guys. Looks like they're trying to track a deer. They got about 30 yards from me, but they didn't see me, which is good. I don't want them to know where my stuff is, so they don't steal it. I'll probably sit here another 15 minutes because they're headed into that old clear-cut area just in case they kick something out of there and it comes this way, but... Are you lost? Are you lost?
No, I think we gotta head off over here to the other side of Stratton.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's right where you're at. Yeah.
We whacked a buck last night. I was back in our place and come up through here.
Oh yeah. Did you just find your arrow today?
No, they tracked him last night and then they jumped him down in here.
Oh yeah.
So I got out of there and let him lay.
Yep.
Now I can't remember where we jumped him, marked last blood at. I'm trying to find him again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always tough when they don't go right down, you know, you just...
Well, he's traveled quite a distance already.
Where'd you hit him at, do you know?
I according to the arrow and stuff, it looks like I got him right low.
Mm-hmm.
Just behind the shoulder low.
Yeah.
It ain't white hair, so it wasn't real low. No. Got blood, a little bit of blood all through here, but now it's starting to get sparse again, and I can't remember where we started opening up again up through here.
Yep. That's just part of hunting, especially out here on state land or adjacent property. Son shot one last night. They tracked it over this way, lost the blood, and they figured they'd come back out this morning. I've been in that situation before too, so... Yep. Real hunting, right? So, I saw no deer today at all, and I was pretty bummed about that. Understandable after I talked to the father and son who were walking around in the woods looking for a deer that he shot last night. He said they walked all through this area last night tracking it, so I guess it's understandable that there's nothing around here today. Seems like a nice couple guys. Definitely would rather run into those kind of people out here. So I asked him, interestingly enough, I said, you know, where'd you hit the deer at? And he said, I don't know. And I thought that was interesting. He was carrying the arrow. I saw the broadhead he was using. It was a mechanical with a, you know, a great big spread on the blade, man. People just don't understand that's not going to go in. You can't force something that big into an animal that's that tough. Let me show you what I use. I've been a big fan of two-blade broadheads for years because of their penetrating ability. They'll out-penetrate anything out there, and they'll fly like a target tip. They're accurate. I'm currently using the Magnus Stinger. I'm using it in the 4-blade configuration, however. Unlike most 4-blades, this 4-blade is pretty low profile and will penetrate nicely. I've used 2 blades for years, and I started using the Stinger because of the point on it. If you can see that tip, if it's focused on there, if you can see that tip, where the angle changes on the end of that head,
That's a strong head right there, man. That thing can break some bone. The problem I used Patriots for a number of years, and the problem I had with those is whenever I would encounter bone, the tip would bend. It would bend slightly and curl. Wasn't a bad thing, but not a good thing either. So I started using the Stinger. When I saw these on the shelf at my favorite sporting goods store, I saw that tip and I said, that is the best designed 2-blade I've ever seen. And I used the 2 blades for a couple of years, and then last year I started using the 4-blade. The other thing that I do with my arrows here, let me hold the camera out so you can see, is I have a certain way that I fletch them. This arrow's been through a deer. I actually shot a 7-point with it last year, so the feathers aren't in that great a shape, but I like to keep reusing them if I can. The reason I have so much white on the end of this is, let's see, I got my knock in the dirt today. I lowered my rope down, that's not good. I have a bunch of white on the end of my arrow because I want to be able to see where that arrow hits that deer. Even if it's in low light, I can see white. I use 2 whites and 1 blue. And the reason I use blue is because nothing is blue in the woods. There's a lot of other colors that you can get out there, but with the fall leaves, the color that they, there's all the different colors that are in them. None of them are blue. And if I need to find an arrow on the ground, a lot of times I find that that blue shows up where the white doesn't, because if I've shot at a deer, the white is typically red because it's soaked with blood. The blue still shows up. So I like to have a lot of white on the end of my arrow so I can see it in flight. I can mark my shot. I can see where I hit that animal. So I know whether to pursue that animal or whether to wait. I mean, if I hit an animal good, I mean, he's usually down in 10 seconds, and I usually hear it out here. If I have a marginal hit on an animal, that happens every now and then, I'll wait. I'll wait a half hour. I might even wait till the next morning and not even go after it. We had one a couple of years ago out here, a 5-point that I got a 1 lung and liver hit on it, but jumped him anyway. We waited a half hour, went after him, jumped him that night, came back out the next morning and recovered it, but I knew that it wasn't like a double lung or anything like that, because I could see my arrows hit. I can always see my arrows hit, even in low light. So make sure you're using a light color. Use white on the end because it works.
First week of archery, Quinn, and you're about to fill your first tag.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got up a little bit late. It was already cracking light when I got out into the woods, and I set up in a group of oak trees where the acorns were just raining down. And I wasn't there for more than 5 minutes when this buck started walking in from behind me. The camera footage is really low light, but if you listen close, you can hear it all and paint your own picture with the sounds.
Shot. He made a small semicircle around me and then started crashing down. Wow. I got out here kind of late. Used my climbing stand, which takes more time, and just got lucky. I'm setting up in some acorns in a different stand, but I'm going to run out of juice on this camera, so I'm going to switch to the other one in a little while. I'm going to go track him. Good hunt. Okay, I'm back at my stand site. Gonna go find this deer. Brought my deer cart back out here, and I brought my gear all with me just in case, so I'm gonna grab my bow just in case to have it with me, but I'm pretty sure I even know where he's laying right now. I can't see him from here, but he didn't go far.
I don't know if you can hear the chipmunks. Chipmunks out here are a real challenge. There must be thousands of chipmunks in those woods. I mean, everywhere I hunt, there's 10 or 20 of them around me on the ground, and you can hear them setting off their alarms right now. They're harder to beat than the deer. I mean, one move and one sees you, and it starts an alarm, and then it's a chain reaction all around you. And I was fortunate enough today to not have any chipmunk alarms going off, and this buck just walked in from straight behind me. Thought he was going to come on my left, but then he came around on my right side, so I had to get turned, stood up and turned, and from there, really, this was a pretty easy shot, one of the easiest I've had. His head was down eating acorns. I had to wait for him to take another step forward to get from behind a branch that was blocking his heart area where I wanted to shoot him. And once he did that, he turned a little bit, so my shot was angled slightly from the rear, but not much. And, you know, it looked like I put it right through his heart where I like to. He made a small semicircle around me. He burned up about 5 seconds of what I call my 10-second rule. If you don't hear him go down after 10 seconds, you better be worried, and you better take your time. In this case, he burned up 5 seconds running a semicircle around me and then started stumbling and crashing back in. So I'm really confident he's laying right back here. I'm going to go see if I can, to the spot where I shot him, and see if I can find my arrow and pick up some blood, and we'll follow a blood trail around here. Well, here's where he was when I shot him, and there's blood here immediately, which is pretty indicative of a major artery or heart hit. To get that initial blood coming out, the onside hit. There's also some hair here from my broadhead going in. Interesting. From here, the tree that I was in, you can see my cart there, the tree's just on the left, oak tree that kind of leans back a little bit. So, I mean, really this is maybe 11 yards at this point. So that was a really nice opportunity to be able to get a fairly easy shot like that. Okay, so he ran this way. See, we've already got immediate blood right on the other side of him here too. Not sure where my arrow went. I would have thought it passed through, but it looked like it didn't though when it hit. I mean, I can always see my arrows hit because of the white fletches on them. And maybe that's why he ran. Maybe it's lodged in there. Maybe that's why he ran in a semicircle. Not exactly sure where he ran from here. There's some blood. No sign of my arrow yet. Interesting. So I got blood here again. Lots of blood. All along here. Constant blood. Still constant. Man. Through here. You know, you gotta love a good shot like this. I always try to take them across the top of the heart. If I can skim the top of the heart and cut all the major blood vessels that are connecting there, that's just a great shot. I've had them go down in as little as 5 seconds from a hit like that. Very dramatic. Not to mention you get these blood trails that a guy that doesn't like to track like me can follow easily. See where he's stumbling through here quite a bit. Lots of red leaves, but lots of blood also. Well, he made it further than I thought he did, that's for sure. I figured he was right in this area just outside of my view. see him up ahead. He's laying between a couple trees up here. Zoom in, see if I can. It's right there. I'm still shaking. I always get worked up. I love this. Absolutely love it. Nothing makes me feel more alive than being out here in the woods doing this stuff. So let's go see what he is. Small 6-point. That's see a lot of these out here. I've shot a lot of these over the years. I've shot some bigger, shot some smaller. Not a bad sized deer. Better than the ones I got on camera here this year on my trail cam. Well, that's what we got. We got ourselves a real Michigan buck here for real hunting. There's my shot. That's my entrance hole. That's where he was facing. So, wow, look at his legs. He's been in some mud. See that? I wonder where he's been. Mud all over his belly. Wonder where this guy came from this morning. I know of a big water hole way back on the property, but yeah. Nice buck anyway. Now it's gonna be 85 degrees today, so means I've got some real work to do. I gotta get him home and I gotta get him quartered up. Get him in the fridge so he can chill for a week before I cut the meat up. Let's get another look at the antlers down here. I find my arrow tucked under a branch over here. The head didn't make it. One side of the aluminum broke when it got bent, and also it did not go all the way through. I noticed that I had an offside wound, but I wasn't sure if the arrow had passed through. I didn't think it did because when I shot that buck, I didn't think it passed through. I can see my arrow the whole time because I use white on the end, and because I don't use sights. I shoot instinctive, and by doing that, it allows me a constant view of my arrow in flight from the time it leaves the bow. When I first learned to shoot, I used sights, but they always blocked the target, you know, and not to mention your sight plane was higher than where the arrow actually was. So I learned to shoot instinctive because my friend Tom and I used to hunt carp in the river behind the house where I grew up in, my parents' house, and they were usually moving, and sights just didn't work for that. And we got to where we started not using the sights and just realized that we could pick these moving carp off just by feeling out the shot. And so from there my shooting progressed, and I really honed in on it for a year at one point, and you know, I basically look at where I want to hit and I hit it. That's how it works. So anyway, I found the arrow, which is good because that represents a significant investment. Lost the $10 broadhead, but it's all okay. Coming down a little bit now because the rush is settling down, and you know, I always feel a sense of remorse for the animal after I take it. There's that initial rush, that initial excitement, but you know, I have a great deal of respect for white-tailed deer. They're one of the most incredible animals, and to be able to see them out in their natural habitat and be able to watch them, watch their behavior, watch their communication, just come to really respect them. And I always feel a great deal of remorse for an animal when I do harvest it. I will put it to good use. Not only do I have another great adventure, that's kind of our meat source throughout the year. We don't buy very much meat at the store, and we eat deer. So I thought it was important to point that out because I know there's a lot of people out there that just want to go kill something, and I'm not one of those people. I hunt. I don't nobody got me into it. It's something I got into by myself when I was younger. I guess it's in my DNA. Hear the chipmunks? It's tough, man. This woods is tough with chipmunks. Alright. So I'm going to take my arrow home, make sure it's straight and not cracked any place. I don't think it is. Take my broadhead off carefully and replace it with another one, clean it up, and see if I can get a third deer with the same arrow.
October 6th, Saturday morning, I get to hunt with my oldest boy, Kaden. 9 years old this year. Next year you're going to be 10. What does that mean?
I can go hunting.
Right. So we're going to go down and see if we can see some deer. We've tried this 2 years in a row, and Kaden still hasn't seen any deer while we've been bow hunting, so hopefully today he'll get lucky.
Alright, just had one of my favorite mornings in years. We're hunting down here on some private land, about 7 acres of a river flat, another river flat across the river. You know, through the bends in the river, there's a flat on each side down through here, and it doesn't get hunted a lot, which is nice because there's still some deer around. And I get to be out here this morning with my oldest boy, Kaden. He's 9. He's getting ready to start hunting next year when he's 10. And finally, our 3rd year out, and he got to see some deer. I counted 15 deer this morning. We had what I'm sure was a buck come in the low light, and he sniffed the ground where we walked and didn't come any further, and then got out of there. My one thing that I always do is I always wear tall rubber boots, and I don't have any of those for Kaden, and I think it really makes a difference. For a couple of years I switched and I bought a name brand, very expensive boot that was not just a tall rubber boot, and every time a deer crossed my path, their nose just hit the ground. And that's what happened this morning. So we got to get Kaden some different boots. Had a group of 11 deer come in, some really, really cool button bucks that I got off my camera on my bow. I mean, they had big buttons, great big around, really neat. I haven't seen any like that before. So it was a nice opportunity, nice for you to get to see some deer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saw some rabbits, some squirrels, some turkeys, all kinds of stuff. Great blue heron. Yep, we walked up by the river and whoosh, off he took off right in front of us. That was cool. I am running a feeder down here because this is private land and I have permission to do that. And the feeder went off. I've got it set to go off at 7:30. I'm only putting out a little less than a half gallon of corn every time it spins, which is once a day. And 10 minutes after it went off, I had some deer around, so that was pretty cool. Nice for my kid to be able to see some deer. That's important to me. Another thing I wanted to point out is that aside from the boot issue, we had 11 deer come from straight downwind of us this morning. And a couple of the older does really checked us out hard, but nobody spooked away. That was cool. What did we do to get ready for that? So that they wouldn't smell us.
Scent killer spray.
Say it loud.
Scent killer spray.
Okay, what did we do last night?
Washed in scent killer?
Yeah, we used scent killer products, and I tell you, I was always skeptical. I used different kinds of cover scent, and deer would always smell something. It was just a matter of whether or not they got scared from it. But since I've been using the entire system, I'm using the shampoo, the soap, the deodorant, the spray, the laundry detergent if I need to wash my clothes. I use all of it. And 11 deer, 11 noses, those incredible whitetail deer noses, we got away with it this morning. 11 of them from straight downwind of us. And we had 2 adults that were pretty good sized does that stayed back behind us. They let their yearlings come in, but they kept checking us out. They kept sniffing, but nobody spooked. And that's such a huge, huge deal to me to be able to get away with that. So had we not had the boot issue this morning, I think that we would have kept that buck around and probably had some pretty cool activity. It's super warm. I mean, it's got to be probably, it was like 70 degrees when we came out this morning. It's supposed to be like 85 again today. So I'm too hot out here in a shirt, which is pretty rare. When the temperature drops in a couple weeks, usually around the 3rd week of October, we get some really cool activity where you'll get a buck that really wants to chase the does and they're not ready. We've got some does down here.
I'm not going to hunt this spot unless I'm hunting it with Kaden, and we're gonna see some cool activity down here, and he's going to really get a taste of what it's like to be in a good area where there's still deer around on a good morning. So we'll check back in.
See ya.
Well, we're on the second week of deer archery season, and went out to near my house last night, hung up my gorilla, and sat out last night. It was 87 degrees yesterday, and lots of bugs. Tons of, I was swatting bugs left and right. It wasn't pretty. Didn't see any deer last night. But Quinn got one a couple days ago, so they're pretty pumped about that. And we're going to give it a try this morning. It's about 66 degrees this morning. And just a sliver of a moon this morning. And I forgot my boots, my rubber boots. And I'm walking through the swamp. So Quinn was nice enough to let me borrow a pair of boots he's got, thank goodness. And we're going to go out there and see what happens today.
October 8th. I'm on stand in the morning. It is so warm out here, I can't believe it. My thermometer's at 72 at home when I left. Got a long sleeve shirt and a t-shirt on, and I'm sweating getting back here. Scrapes haven't been touched. Acorns are raining down, so we'll make the best of it and see what we see. Well, 10:07 roughly, and I just got back out of the woods. Hunted way back in on the edge of the swamp again, and had some good luck. Saw 2 does and 2 yearlings. One of the yearlings was a button buck. So having 2 adult does come by always keeps me optimistic, because in about, well, maybe another 8 days, might have something following. Temperature's supposed to drop, and usually right about the beginning of the 3rd week of October is when I see a little bit of chase activity for a couple days. Then after that, it's the first part of November when it really kicks in. So, doing good. Saw some deer. Radioed Rich. He said he saw a couple back by him. No bucks. October 9th. I'm feeling pretty tired. Been hunting a lot, and I can feel it. I keep getting out here about 3 minutes later every day. All right.
Yeah, today is actually the coolest morning I've been out hunting in the last 2 weeks, so it's nice to actually have a sweater on. Very nice to walk out there. Yesterday was pretty frustrating. Got up to 87 yesterday, and in the morning at 10:30 it was almost 80 degrees, and walking out was very frustrating, especially for 3/4 of a mile. But now it's cooler. I'll quit complaining. Looks good. Doesn't look like we're going to have any rain this morning. Nice clear skies. All the stars are out. So maybe the deer will be moving in and hanging out, and then we'll be able to ping something.
Tuesday, October 9th. I got a barred owl near me. I hope that camera picked him up. He's pretty cool. I don't forget to see them in the light, but a lot of times when I'm out in this area, I'll have them near me in the trees, calling. Sometimes you'll get one off in the distance, they'll start calling back and forth and get closer together. It's pretty neat. Rained last night, everything's very wet, but it's pretty still, and low 50s right now, so I guess we'll just see what we see.
Well, it's 8:30, and this is the coolest morning we've had so far. It was about 51 degrees when I come out this morning, so I thought it'd be pretty good, but I haven't seen anything yet. I've never been skunked out here before. This has always been a great area for lots of deer, and this year haven't been seeing them like I did last year. I don't know. Hard to say. I know the deer population is down quite a bit, but it's pretty frustrating. So we'll probably sit for another hour and a half and we'll see what happens. I'll check back in with you. Wow. It's about 9 o'clock on October 9, 2007. No deer. It's 9 o'clock, October 9, 2007, and Quinn and I usually check in on mid-mornings around 9 o'clock. It's been kind of nice. He and I have been hunting Mondays and Tuesdays together out here. It's kind of nice hanging out with him. I don't get to do as much as we used to together, but you know, you understand the jobs take up an awful lot of time, and then of course when you do get time off, it's nice to spend time with families. But Quinn and I used to do quite a bit together, and so it's good to see him once in a while. So we're gonna check in and see if he's here. Yet so far this morning I haven't seen anything. I'm actually getting skunked out here. Kind of hard to believe, but I am. Of course, I'll probably sit for another hour, so hopefully we'll see something. But let's check in with Quinn, see what he's got going on. Woodchuck to gray squirrel, come in. It's 9:03 according to my watch, but Quinn's always a couple of minutes. I don't know, maybe my watch is fast, but for the last 2 weeks, he's been checking in at 9:08. One time it was 9:06, but anyway, I'm not keeping track. Woodchuck to gray squirrel, come in. It's always a good idea to let somebody know where you're at and where you're going to be hunting, because they have at least a couple of people fall out of the tree stand every year and they get hurt. Some of them get killed. So it's a good idea if you have a hunting buddy or have somebody you know to let them know where you're going to be hunting in case something happens. And if you don't check in by a certain time, then they know where to look for you. Woodchuck to gray squirrel, come in. He might have some deer in too, if he's got deer in on his oh, there's been a pileated woodpecker doing some pecking over there on a tree, and it's pretty neat to watch them because they use their entire body like that to be pecking on the tree, only a little more graceful than that. I tried to zoom in on the guy and so you could see what he looked like, but I couldn't quite zoom in that far. So he's been pretty cool, making all kinds of noise this morning. But anyway, woodchuck to gray squirrel, come in. I don't think he likes it when I say woodchuck to gray squirrel because he never plays along with that. But it's funny anyway. I get a kick out of it. 5 after. Woodchucked gray squirrel come in.
I've actually seen a gray squirrel today, but that's all I've seen.
Outstanding. I have actually been skunked this morning. I have never been skunked out here before, ever.
2 skunks, no gray squirrels, no woodchucks.
And 1 pileated woodpecker.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Have you ever watched them in action? Their whole body swings as they hit the tree.
Nope, I've never got to see one in action. I've seen them flying from tree to tree and landing, but I've never seen one making a hole.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I tried to zoom in on him and I couldn't focus that far away. Couldn't get him.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably do the same thing. Sit here till 9:30 and then get out of here and go to work.
Yeah, that sounds good. I think I'm only waiting until 9:30 as well. I'm a little chilly this morning, but
Yeah, I'm chilled. Seems like I shouldn't have to have as much clothing on as I do for 50, but the air's pretty cold.
alright, sounds good. I'll probably meet up with you somewhere around 9:30 or so.
Alright, I'll radio you at that time.
Copy all. Woodchuck out.
Gray squirrel out.
Hey, first time he's ever done that. Alright, well, 2 skunks this morning. That'd be me and Quinn. No deer. Pretty frustrating. But still a little early in the season. It's only the 2nd week, so usually by the 3rd and 4th week we start having them run around and chasing does. So should be more successful by then. So we'll see. Well, it's 9:30 and didn't see anything today, but maybe that's a good thing because tomorrow morning I'm going to start hunting a new area about 40 minutes south of here, so maybe it's a good thing. And we'll see what turns up over there. Alright.
Well, woodchuck's done, by the way. But no deer. Well, I did too. I seen 2 deer. Not on stand though. While I was walking out, I got out about 9:30. I had spooked. At least I seen 2. I don't know how many there were together, but I seen 2 of them running off. Whitetails flagging. But it happens. So I'll hit her again tomorrow. See what happens.
All right, I saw 0 deer this morning. Yep, 0 deer. Today's Friday, October 12th, and I'm back in Montcalm County on state land. Haven't hunted this stand since last Thursday when I had a couple guys come walk through the woods. So beautiful morning, 37 degrees, very calm. Hopefully we'll see some deer. Well, it's about 9:15. I'm gonna get down. I haven't seen any deer today. Totally calm out. I can hear a long ways today, and no deer. I may not hunt this spot again this year, since I'm seeing deer other places. I don't know. Nice morning anyway. I'm gonna get down and walk over by an old stand site that I used to hunt before I got hit by lightning. Blew my tree stand out of the tree and blew the tree all apart. It was 3 maple trunks that grew up, and I had a platform built in between them. And one of the trunks got hit by lightning last summer, and it blew the tree up. I mean, there was pieces scattered in 10 yards in all directions, huge chunks of wood. Amazing. And I was walking back on my trail, and all of a sudden there's a piece of wood with a board nailed in it. or bolted in it, actually. My God, looks like part of my stand. I looked over at my tree and that trunk was just gone. So that was well, the summer before last, and be a year and a half ago. So last year I sought out a different tree. This tree, it's a nice split-trunked maple that I blend in nicely on, and got a 7-point from this tree last year. But I was seeing deer. It's only the second time I've sat it, but 2 times now not seeing any deer out here. It's got me kind of concerned. So I'm going to stroll over by my other tree, my old site, and see if there's any activity that I can see going on over there. October 17th. Gonna go hunt by the swamp. It's pretty warm. About 52 degrees. I'm supposed to get up to 70 today. Rained all yesterday, all last night. Sky's clear now. Hopefully we'll see some deer. It's the 3rd week of October, so I usually at this point start thinking about November, when the rut's going to kick in. So I like to spend the next couple weeks making sure that I'm ready for November. I'm going to hunt back here, and then I'm going to make a couple of mock scrapes along the edge of the swamp on a heavily used trail. Well, it's pushing 10:30. I saw 0 deer this morning. I got 4 mock scrapes set up after I got done hunting out around my stand, so hopefully that'll increase the activity around the stand site. I'm also just doing it as an experiment because I'm curious to see what kind of response I get. Probably won't hunt again out here until the middle of next week, so hopefully nobody steals my gear. That looks like a good thing to film right there. Yeah. What are you eating?
Good morning. This is apple crisp that Siobhan made the other day. So
Jeez.
it looked awful good, so I had to bring some with me this morning.
Yeah.
Plus, I'll smell like apples when I go out hunting this morning, so you can't beat it. Last week went out hunting Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Didn't see 1 deer, which is part of hunting for real.
That's right.
And unfortunately, but today I'm back out here with Quinn at the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see what happens today.
Yeah, I think we're October 22nd today. I hunted 1 day last week. I had a really busy week and just couldn't fit it in. We had a lot of rain and wind. Today is supposed to be like 10-mile-an-hour winds, which is much better than the 30-mile-an-hour winds we've had for the last 3 days. So climb up in a tree this morning, see what we can see. Alright, it's October 22nd, about 6:45 in the morning. I'm finally in my stand. Every time I'd walk back here, I kick deer out of this area, back into the swamp. They're in here eating acorns. There's no other route for me to get in to where I'm at. So I guess I'm just gonna have to live with it, but I hate doing that. So, had some pretty decent action this morning. I'm happy with my mock scrapes that I made so far because I saw 3 bucks this morning. They all seem to come downwind of the scrapes. The biggest one went out around me. Couldn't really make out what he was. He went out into the swamp behind me. He was at least a nice 6, if not an 8. And when I say nice 6, you know, probably between 12 and 14 inches wide, and you know, had a little bit of height to him. Couldn't tell if it was just a fork or if he actually had a beam. It's kind of in between, so couldn't get him to come in. At the same time he came around to the back side of me, there was a doe and a yearling out in front of me about 40 yards. I don't know if he just didn't see them or what the lack of interest was there, but he continued out in the swamp and I never got a chance at him. That was about 8 o'clock, about 8:30. One antlered big spike came in, and he was, you know, he probably had a 12-inch spike on him. A little tiny brow tine on each side. The right side was broken off. The left side had the spike. He hung around down below me. We shot a little video of him straight off the bow, so hopefully that'll turn out. And about a half hour after that, I had another buck come, pretty tall 6-point, and he came right down in front of me and just stood there broadside for quite a while. And again, I did shoot video off the bow cam, so we'll see if that turns out. I sure hope it does. Finally got a couple bucks on camera this year at least. So talked to Rich. He is going to stay on stand, and it's pushing 10:30, and I'm going to head out for the day.
Well, seen some deer today, which is nice. At about 9 o'clock, right on the nose, I had 3 does come through on the front side of me, found the edge of the swamp there. They never came in very close, so sat there for about another 20 minutes, and actually about 25 minutes, and I had a 6-point come in. Nice fork, pretty tall. Then he had good sized brow tines too. He come in from my left side, come walking in, and I heard him break a stick. So as soon as I turned around and looked, and he was walking straight in, got my bow ready, got my release on, and walked right up to there's a big maple out there, and then where I'd have a couple of mineral supplements, he come up around that maple straight in. So I had pulled when he went behind the maple there, pulled back, having it full draw, and he was straight on to me. I had no shot. He turned straight around, walked straight back out. So there I sat for 45 seconds at full draw with no shot, because I didn't want to get a bad hit on him and not be able to recover him. So unfortunately I had to wait on that one, which was tough, let me tell you. Awful tough, because I haven't shot a deer yet this year, so I wanted one pretty bad. But made the right decision, I believe, so still got some time left, so we'll see what happens.
About 10 to 7 on a Friday. I guess I'm not sure of the date. Maybe it's the 24th, 25th. No, it's the 26th today. I shot a buck last year on the 26th, 7-point. So anyway, I'm in my stand. Once again, walking back through the woods, I kicked that one deer out that hangs around by the corner of the swamp. I got a strong feeling it's a buck, but, you know, there's no other route for me to get in here. Doesn't look like my mock scrapes have been touched at all. Wind's out of the east today. I had a hard time figuring out which stand I wanted to hunt. I decided to come back by the swamp because most of the deer that I've seen back here have come from the west, so I figured an east wind isn't a bad thing. They can't skirt the edge of the swamp looking for scent coming by me like they could if it was out of the south or southwest, but I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. Taking a look at the swamp back here. Got something I want to point out because it just started raining. Before it gets too wet. I was looking around this morning as it got light and noticed somebody else has been hunting out of my stand. Either that or they're just being a asshole. Either way, if we look at this small tree right in front of me here, and we follow it down, right down there. See how it gets dark? That's because somebody was in my stand and decided to pee all over this tree. So that completely compromises all of the scent control that I've tried to do in this area. Not only because there's somebody else in here using my setup, but because they also want to be a tool and pee all over the tree in front of it. Nice. So I smelled this tree, and it is definitely urine on this tree. Oh man, it stinks bad. So no wonder I'm not seeing any deer here. I will probably not hunt this stand anymore. I was really looking forward to hunting it during November, which is coming right up because today's October 26th. But, you know, if I got to deal with other people being back here, and then my scent control means absolutely nothing if some other asshole is going to take a leak on a tree that's, you know, 6 feet in front of my tree stand. Don't know if they did it to be a jerk or not, but I don't like my stuff being compromised. I don't like other people being in my stand. It makes me feel violated and pissed off. You know, you work hard, you scout, you find an area, you do your trimming, put up your gear. You know, I mean, we're over a half mile back in here where we had to haul this stuff, and it's a lot of work. And, you know, I saw a few bucks out of this stand. And I guess that's as good as this one gets this year. I got a couple more to hunt from. One that's on private land that I've been leaving alone. I've only sat it twice. I'm leaving it alone until the rut kicks in, because I know there's does around, because I've got a feeder down there and there's a lot of deer, and I'm pretty confident that I'll see a buck. Hopefully I'll you know, see one that I can fill a 4 on a side tag with. You know, I just came to another realization. I didn't use my normal safety strap today because it got wet the other day when I hunted. When was that? Tuesday? Today's Friday. On Tuesday I hunted. It got wet out here. And I noticed that ever since it got wet, it had an odor to it. Like, it smelled like pee, and I thought, well, maybe something off the tree. Well, now that I think about it, this probably isn't the first time this guy's taken a leak by my stand, and he's probably climbed up there and actually peed on it. Peed on my tree and peed on my seat. Because I got wet on Tuesday, everything was damp, and yeah, it seemed like my strap really picked up this odor. And this morning when I put my clothes on, I was noticing, man, they smell kind of funky. So I made sure I sprayed down really good, but I didn't really understand why they smelled the way they did. So I think that there's just, you know, some guy being an climbed up there, peed on my seat, peed on my tree. Yeah. It's tough, man. This is real. This is real hunting. This is the kind of bullshit you gotta deal with. It's not like all the other shows make it look, at least not for me, not hunting state land in Michigan. Man, it's a lot of competition. A lot of underhandedness, a lot of holes in the woods. I bought a nice climbing stand last year just to use on state land so that I wouldn't have to leave gear out and people wouldn't be able to steal it. That was the number one reason. And number two was just so that people wouldn't come across it and know where I was hunting. This is a pretty good example why a lot of guys that I've seen on state land use a climbing stand, because if you don't, somebody's going to mess with your stuff.
Yeah, that's bad.
Unbelievable.
Well, I've been given a unique opportunity to hunt 80 acres of private property. This guy, I work with him, and he's an older gentleman, and nobody bow hunts out there. So he has his son-in-law come out, and I think he goes out for rifle season, but nobody bow hunts, so he's given me the opportunity to go out there and bow hunt. So we're gonna go take a look and see what kind of property he's got and what kind of deer he's got running across there. So we'll check back in with you. Last night I was hunting this spot for the first time. I had heard about 4:15 in the PM. I had heard some rattle of antlers, so I looked over there to see if I could see anything, and I hear rattle again in the thick stuff. And then the third time they went crash. You could hear their skulls hitting. They hit so hard, which was pretty cool because I'd never heard deer fighting in the woods before, so that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Of course, neither one of those came near me. They stayed in the thick stuff, which if there was a tree over there in the thick stuff, I could cut a shot lane in there, but there's not. Unfortunately, there's no place to hang over there, so hang a tree stand, that is. This is my third tree stand location here in this woods. Unfortunately, I had no time to scout this property at all. Second week into archery season, this guy calls me up or talks to me at work there and says, "Hey, you know, I've got 80 acres of property that you might be interested in hunting for archery." And I said, "Heck yeah." But unfortunately, I had no time to scout it, so I didn't know where the deer were coming through or anything like that. So my third tree stand location, and the second one, which was back in the woods a ways, while I was hanging my tree stand, I get everything up, the ladder's up, and I step down to take a look at some of my shot lanes, and as I'm backing up pops a 4-point. He had been bedded down maybe 30 yards from where I was doing all this work, and he never moved the entire time until I went down to go check some of my shot lanes, and then he hopped up. Unbelievable. Some of the deer out here, it's just, I've never seen anything like it. So it's pretty cool, good experience for me. I'm learning quite a bit, so hopefully tonight we'll be able to see something come through. They'll come out of the thick stuff maybe. It's 3:30 right now. I just had 7 deer come running in from the south, straight through here. Something spooked them, I don't know what it was, but they come running in and running right on by. No antlers. I don't see anything following them, so we'll wait and find out. That was kind of weird though, all of them just running. Something spooked them over there, I don't know.
Alright, rolling out on November 1st. Going hunting again with my son Kaden. Say hi, Kaden.
Hi.
Gonna see if we can see a buck, hopefully. Hopefully see some deer, if not. So, gonna go hunt our chunk of private land again. Get out there, get set, and get quiet. I'm excited because it was supposed to be really windy this morning, and we just walked out of the house and it's very calm. So it may pick up later, but hopefully we'll have a little bit of time here where the wind's calm and we can hear some deer. Alright, we'll check in later after we get that big 9-point.
Alright, so here's the situation. I'm hunting with my boy Kaden. We're hunting a small piece of private land where we've got a feeder running. And in the early morning light, there was a doe and a yearling hanging around down there. They moved over to the trail by where we walked in, and a third deer showed up. And it was too low light to see antlers, but all of a sudden the doe starts running, and this other deer starts after it. So I whispered to Kaden, I said, "It's a buck." And chased her around for probably 20 minutes and didn't hear him anymore. And the yearling shows up again over by us, right by the feeder, and turns out it was a female. So I thought, well, it's early November, maybe he'll come check her out. And sure enough, she picks up her head and looks over at the river, and I hear, and I was like, oh yeah. So I look and I see that it's a buck. I see it's a pretty good buck. And just as I got the camera turned on, I whispered to Kaden, "He looks good. I'm gonna shoot it."
I'm pretty sure I hit him in the heart.
I'm sure you did. Oh my god. Oh.
Do you hear him grunting coming in?
What? I want to go get him.
We gotta wait. We gotta wait a little while, okay, just in case.
I know, he was huge.
He might have laid down. He might be weak. He might not be dead yet. We gotta wait.
Okay.
He was a big buck.
Oh my gosh. What's an 8?
He had at least 4 on the one side, that's all.
Did you see that? Dad, he might be great for a record. That was huge. Dad, I saw you shaking like crazy.
It's hard to draw on them when they're that close. Do you hear me make noise with my mouth to get them to stop? I don't like shooting them when they're walking.
Your legs were shaking. Your whole... His...
We gotta wait a while, alright?
Okay.
Let me look at mine. Thanks.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have...
There goes the doe. She's still over there. She's over on the trail where we walked in right now.
Okay.
It's 8:16. Let's wait. Let's wait a half hour, okay?
It's right over there.
Quinn just called. He said he shot a nice 8-point, and he had his son with him. So, hopefully he got a pretty good shot. I'm sure he did. That's Quinn. He's always practicing, which is very important. So we'll wait to hear back from him. He's going to wait about a half an hour, and he's going to go down and look for him. So, good luck.
Alright. So, we've been sitting here for 20 minutes. I'm nervous because he was a nice buck. Really nice for me. And I don't see my arrow in the ground. I'm afraid my shot was a little low. I mean, I always aim at the bottom third of their body because they tend to drop when they go to jump. But he was so close, he didn't have time to drop. I mean, it was like, maybe 6 yards from the tree I'm sitting in. Amazing. And I made a little noise with my mouth. Got him to stop. Looked at his shoulder and shot. It looked like it caught a little low, but I thought it was a hard shot initially. It just makes me nervous when I don't see my arrow down there. And I never heard him start crashing down. He ran out of here, but I never heard him start stumbling and crashing down out there. So I'm nervous. We're gonna wait a half hour. Then we're gonna walk back up to the truck. We're gonna get some lighter clothes on in the video camera. And we're gonna come back down and track him, bring the bow, and hopefully find ourselves a nice buck at the end of the trail. So we came up and we got close to where the house is here, and we walked over to the river just to make sure, and looked upstream and downstream. I think if he had gotten into the water, we would have heard it, because we do hear deer when they cross the river. And so now we're going to go back. We're going to follow a different trail down that runs right along the edge of the river. Maybe we'll get lucky and see him laying someplace. If not, we'll pick up the blood where we shot him and do the normal game. So,
But hopefully he's not in the water, because we heard that great blue heron make weird noise.
we did hear a great blue heron make a very weird noise this morning, almost like it was startled by something. It came flying down the river doing its normal sound, and then it freaked out. So another reason that we looked in the water, we didn't see anything. But so we're going to go down. We're going to walk the trail down the woods, see if we can find him laying. If not, we're going to pick up the blood and see what we can get. Okay. We came walking down the trail by the river, as we can see here. And I wanted to check this spot because this is the spot where the deer usually cross the river. We got here and I looked down, and this is what I see. We got blood down here on the ground. It's good blood, but that was my fear, is that he would get here and he would get to the river and he would cross. Luckily, as I'm looking across here, I can see him laying right over on the other side.
How are we gonna get over there?
Well, there he is.
Is it focused?
Kind of. Alright, so he's laying on the other side. We got him. Now I get to get cold and go across the river. So what do you think? What do you think about this morning?
Awesome.
Yeah?
First deer I've ever had hunting out with my dad, and it's a big 8. Hopefully.
Yeah? What do you think, it's an 8?
Yeah.
Okay. So First buck you've ever seen, huh?
In the wild.
Yep. Yep. Good stuff. All right, let's follow this blood and see if we can find that arrow.
See ya.
Okay, so we found the arrow. 2 pieces, almost 3. You want to pick it up, Kay? Careful of that broadhead. Get the other side too. We'll take it up with us.
Totally snapped.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't have the end either.
Yeah. So there's not, you know, like I said, my shot, I was a little worried about it because it's not much blood on there. I mean, the fletchings have blood on them, but that's because they were lodged in him. But the other end of the arrow doesn't really. So with him being that close, I think I hit him a little low and nicked something. So it's a good thing that we waited as long as we did, don't you think? Mm-hmm. It's hard to wait, isn't it? Mm-hmm. All right, let's follow this blood back up so we can show what we found here. We just got some small drops along here on the ground. You know, this is where it first starts opening up here. We got pretty decent blood, but once he quit running and just started walking, it opened up pretty good. You can see there's pretty good blood down here on the leaves. And from here he just started walking. He must have stopped for a little bit. This is normally what a deer would have done, run about 50 yards, stopped, and then maybe started stumbling and crashing, and I never heard that. And with all the dead branches on the ground around here, I should have heard that. That's why we waited. It was hard to wait. I wanted to get down after 15 minutes and look, but I didn't. And it's a good thing. But as you can see, now we've got a good blood trail. Now, here's the deal. I was gonna make a fake scrape out here to play with, and I came out here to make it. Kaden and I came out here to make it, and there was already a scrape here. We did scent it a little bit, and the last time we hunted, it had been hit by deer naturally, and we haven't scented it since, and it's still being hit by deer. In fact, he probably cleaned that off this morning. But you can see he came by and he stopped right here by this scrape because there's a decent amount of blood here. And the scrape is very close to where they cross the river. Right here at this spot, and that's where he's laying. Right over there on the other side. I got all my important things out of my pockets. I very well may need to run back up to the truck, which is not too far away from here, after I get him back over, because I'm going to be pretty darn cold. I'm going to do it quick, grab him, pull him back over, and then we'll see where we're at.
You okay? How big?
7. Just broke off on the end, or it would have been an 8. Man, almost a perfect 8. Almost a perfect 8. Broken off there though.
You need to go change your clothes.
No, I'm alright. My feet were getting pretty cold, but
Okay.
yeah, pretty low hit.
That's what I thought. At the angle I was at. You know, I always aim for this pocket right here. Because I'm usually shooting them farther out. And in case they drop, I still got a margin of error here to get into that where I need to get. So here I am looking at the pocket. Should have been looking up here. But nonetheless, we got him. Nice 2.5-year-old buck for sure. I would have loved it if he wasn't broken off and he was a nice 8, but hey man, I'll take it. Whatever, that's a nice buck. One of the nicest ones I've gotten.
With me.
With me. With my boy. We're gonna get him tagged first of all. Okay, we're gonna get this guy tagged and then we're gonna get him clean and get him out of the woods. Now I had a trail camera down here and got a photo of possibly this buck in August. Not sure about him broken off. We'll have to look at that photo again and see what. Because the one that was on camera I thought was, you know, about 14 inches wide and looked like an 8, and this guy's 14, so.
And it was an 8.
Yep. I always use rubber gloves whenever I'm dealing with any kind of blood. I suggest you do the same. And then I use the bag to bag the gloves back up and bag my bloody knife, and usually the heart too, because we save that.
Most delicious part of the deer.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Except the summer sausage. Get
Yeah.
off of it. That's pretty good.
We'll have to make some of that, huh?
How heavy do you think he is?
I don't know. We could. The scale's at home. He's probably, you know, dressed out, probably around 140, I'd say. Maybe a little lighter.
What about on the hoof?
Well, you usually figure about 40 pounds for the gut, so yeah, would have put him about 180. I don't know. We should weigh this one and find out for sure. Let's get him up and then see how much time we have. So probably all the video we're going to shoot on this. Good hunt. Good job, Kaden. Come over here for the camera. Think it's got both of us on there?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Good hunt, huh? First buck you ever saw in the woods. Got to see him chasing does. You got to hear him grunting.
Like a monster?
Yeah, you got the whole works. It's a good deal. What are you going to do next year when you're 10?
Hunt.
Yeah? Probably going to hunt down here, aren't you?
After this buck, yeah.
Awesome.
There's still another buck that broke that off, and you need to get it. There
is still another buck that broke that off. Yeah, nice buck, and he's broken off, so he was fighting with somebody. All right, good hunt, good day, great time with my kid. We'll see you later.
Quinn, very nice buck. But you know what I enjoyed the most was watching Kaden get so excited. You know, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it really is. It's been great for me to be able to spend some time hunting with both of my boys and watching their appreciation for the outdoors grow.
What about later that afternoon?
Well, we decided we'd head back out to the swamp and take down my other tree stand. Here's what we found. All right. So, looking at my stand, I can see that somebody has stolen my cushion off the seat, and I can see that my chain is sitting on the platform. So somebody has tried to disconnect my stand to see if they can take it. So, you know, it's a good thing I'm getting it out of here, and good lesson learned not to hang it on state land where somebody's going to try to steal it. So all in all here, they packed dirt in here, dropped it, I had to drop my stand, my hand got caught, and my ladder was very unstable because they took 3 of the ropes off my stick ladder and only left 1 to hold it up there, and it was very unstable. I loosened my stand and it, you know, I got tippy. I had to hang on. I went to grab on real quick, ripped my hand open on the tree. They cut my drop rope, so that's gone, my bow rope. They took 3 of my ropes from my ladder stand. They stole my cushion and they stole my hook for hanging my bow on a tree. So we're out of here. If I sit out here, I'll bring my climbing stand out and sit. But at this point, I don't know. Might sit it next year. It's tough because I got 2 scrapes that I've got some scent on that the real deer have taken over now, which is exactly what I wanted them to do. November 1st, we got some prime hunting, prime deer behavior to be out here and witness, and got somebody being a jerk to me. And so I'm going to let them win for now. Keep myself safe. It's the smartest way to play it. Keep Quinn safe so he can keep hunting.
Let's show your finger on this tape.
Quit bleeding now. I ripped it right at the base of the nail and then down a little bit lower. Yep. Alright. We're going to get loaded up and we'll check in when we have some more adventure.
Well, this is a sad story. The first week I was here, I hunted out here about thought I heard a deer just a second. Oh, just a squirrel. Okay. The first week I was out here for about 6 or 7 days, and straight, right in a row, every morning and every evening. I'd taken the week off, and towards the end of that week, I started seeing less and less deer. By the sixth day, I decided to shoot anything that come in front of me instead of waiting for that 8-point. I had seen the 8-point a couple of times, nice looking deer, but he never came close enough. He was smarter. So I had a 4-point come across in front of me, and he was about 26 yards out. He was walking from my right to my left. I pulled back and I led him just a little bit, and I shot, and it went right in front of him. I missed. So that was my 4-point I missed this year. He never knew that I'd shot. He just kept trotting along, walking. So it's important. I know you get all excited. I got excited. I tried to shoot him while he was walking, but it's important to try to get him to stop somehow. Either grunt at him or whistle, something to make him stop for a second. But live and learn, I guess. That's part of real hunting. I missed my 4-point for this year. So anyway, we'll give it a try tonight, see what happens. This is the 3rd week I've hunted this private property. And the first week they had corn up. They had about 20 acres of corn on the front side of the woods and 60 acres of woods. So I opted to sit on the front side of the woods bordering the corn. Saw an awful lot of nice deer. Passed up a couple of 4-points and a 6-point while I was watching a nice 8-point. I'd never shot an 8-point before, so I was watching him hoping he'd come in. Well, I did that for about 4 days, watched him and hoping he was come in, and he never did come in to where I could get a shot. Meanwhile, I'm passing up all these other nice bucks in front of me, and I decided to move back further in the woods where I had seen him come through a few other times. Well, I moved back there. They cut the corn. The deer's pattern changed like crazy. Seen half as many deer after they cut the corn. And back there on the point, I seen him one more time come through behind me where I didn't have a shot lane. And then that was it for that week. That was actually the 2nd week. I had seen him last Wednesday as well. That was a week ago tomorrow. And he was in a totally different section of the woods. So I was scouting around, found a couple of nice scrapes that were by another section of the woods on the west side of the property. So I decided to move my stand again and try my luck at some of these scrapes. This is the last week before rifle season, and still haven't shot my deer yet. So I'm kind of wishing that I hadn't have passed up some of those nice ones at the first week that I was here, which was the 3rd week. I think it was the 3rd week of October is when I started hunting this property, and here it is, the 2nd week of November. But that's part of hunting. That's part of hunting for real. You know, yeah, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. So here I am in the last 2 days, and we're going to give these scrapes a try and see what happens. Last week I had taken the week off from work, and that was what I had calculated was going to be pre-rut, where the bucks are chasing the does around quite a bit, and sure enough, that was the week that they were chasing them like crazy, and I was sitting on the edge. The woods had kind of come to a point on the back side of a grassy field with a few sparse trees in between, some pines and stuff. So I sat behind that because I felt they would have a little bit of cover back through there, and that was a good idea because I watched them run that field like crazy. They were bucks chasing does back and forth, and of course nothing came close enough for me to shoot. And I remember this one that came through, small, teeny little teeny 4-point, had that spike with another thing coming off of it, and he come running in full blast chasing a doe, and they had stopped for 2 seconds right in front of me, and his mouth was wide open, his tongue was hanging out, and he was just panting. So he must have been running all morning long, which was pretty cool because I haven't seen deer activity like this before, and I'm learning quite a bit, so this is fun. I'm having a good time. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to shoot something.
Archery season is done. Firearm season is upon us. I still haven't shot any deer, and Quinn, you filled both your tags.
Yeah, I've still got a couple antlerless tags for counties that I hunt in, and my dad and I were getting ready to head to Michigan's Upper Peninsula for the firearm opener. All right, it's November 14th, and I'm with my dad. Just picked him up. We're just leaving the house. I'm gonna drive up to the UP to our 80 acres that we get to hunt on up there. It's always a nice anticipation that I feel when it's the opening of firearm season. We've had pretty good luck up here in the past. This is our 6th year going to this property, and we have gotten one buck every year up there, and last year was the first year that we got 2. I got an 8-point, and 5 minutes later Dad got a great big 8-point up there. Big UP monster buck like what we're looking for. So hopefully this year we can connect with something again. I've got a big feeder running up there this year, and my bear-proof feeder, I call it. Last year I had a tripod feeder up there and the bears kept taking it out. So I had a steel fab place build me a large tripod, 16-foot tripod, and put a big feeder up there, and just checked on it 2 weeks ago. It looks good. There's more deer sign up there this year than there's ever been. So we're optimistic, we're on our way, and we'll check in later. Stop here at Lato's Pasties. It's not only the best pasty place in the UP, it's also a family tradition here that we have. Traveling west on US 2. Really a spectacular view along the lake shore here. It's really windy today, so a lot of waves out there. Alright, rolling out. 6:02 a.m. on November 15th, opening day of firearm season. Got to drive a couple miles to get back to our spot. Got up here fine yesterday. Took the usual 4 hours, 4 to 4.5. Went out to put a couple things in the blind and ended up seeing a doe and a buck out there. Couldn't really tell how big the buck was. He crossed the trail pretty fast and looked like a big fork to me, but could have had more. No idea how wide. So hopefully this morning we get to see some more. It's pretty cold though, pretty cold and windy, 34 degrees, supposed to have 20-mile-an-hour winds today, blowing right in my face, so that's going to be rough.
beautiful day, but it's pretty rough right now. Well, November 16th. It's about 6:35 a.m. Got a little better head start this morning. Put my decoy out in the field again. And I'm optimistic about today. It's a lot calmer today. There's not very much wind at all. Hopefully with calm and quiet, we'll see some more deer move. I had a good day yesterday. I saw 8 for sure. The last 2 that I saw, I don't know if they were part of the group of 4 that came by me or not. If they weren't, then I saw 10 yesterday, which is good. Really good for up here. See any deer in the evening last night. The feeder's only going off in the morning, so I think they're kind of trained to come through at certain times. I saw quite a few deer this morning. I think I saw 8 altogether. 2 bucks, a spike, and I couldn't really tell what the other one was. He was crossed my shooting lane with his head down, sniffing fast, and then I caught him running down the fence row on the other side of my decoy. I took the decoy down because I've officially scared 5 deer with it, including a buck. Totally not what I wanted to accomplish with it. I scattered a few apples around out by the fence row where I'm seeing some deer, and in this lane that they're crossing fast. Try to get them to slow down when they cross, maybe get a better look at them. Decide if it's something I want to shoot or not, and place my shot accurately. So, I'm back on stand. I'm going to have myself a snack quietly, which just happens to be an apple. See some action this morning. is a good thing, I think. May help draw something from the properties on the west. I don't think anybody's hunting them right now. I haven't heard any vehicles pull in over there like I normally do. Decided to put out some a scent product. We'll let you know what that is if it works. And we'll just see what happens. Dad finally saw a doe and a yearling last night. He hasn't seen any deer up here. The feeder consistently has been drawing 2 adult does with the yearlings, but that's it. Once again at Lato. Put a line out here to get onto the bridge. I've never seen it like this, but it's been several years, I think, since we've been up here coming back on a Sunday. Quite a few decent bucks going by. Pretty impressed with some of the racks I'm seeing from up here. Not us this year though, unfortunately, but that's okay. Holy cow, look at that one. Look at that buck. Man, somebody's happy there. I'm fueling the truck right now. I'm not just stopped here for fun. I'm getting gas. I don't like to just sit by the road and watch deer go by. $2.50. Must pay to cross the bridge.
Oh, looks like you guys been out mudding.
Well, yeah. I gotta get a shot of your deer coat here real quick.
Actually, that's not accurate. It should be about 700 and something for the count,
Okay.
and it's up by 20%.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Skunked in the UP, huh?
Yeah, well, we've been hunting this land for 6 years, and this was the first year that we came home without a deer.
I see a lot of other hunters were successful.
Yeah, we saw several nice bucks on the way home.
But not for you.
No, but Rich, how many tags do you have left?
I still have 2,
Yeah.
but I've got a week left.
Yeah, a week. Let's see what happens.
It's November 20th. About 4 p.m. Took off work a little early. Been pretty calm out all day, and I wanted to sit out. It's supposed to rain tonight. Thought maybe we'd catch something moving. I'm sitting at home on my hill, looking out at my feeder. I'm sitting out here with my youngest son, Gavin. He's 7. He's pretty fired up, wants to see some deer. So I'm in a little pop-up blind down here on the hill that I put up every year, and trying to see some deer out here. There's another deer to the left. Another doe. And another one coming. See him?
Looks like a spike.
Does it? I don't see antlers on it. Okay, Gavin, it's almost time to go up. How many deer did you see tonight?
5.
Where were they?
Mm. 3 does and 2 yearlings.
I think it was the other way around. 2 does and 3 yearlings.
Oh.
Yeah. Got to see some deer for the first time, huh?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Cool.
Yeah. Good. You gonna come hunting with me some more?
Yes.
Good. Alright, say bye.
Bye.
Okay, good morning. It is November 26th. This is the last week of rifle season, and I wasn't able to hunt the first part of rifle season because I had some projects I had to do for the house to get it ready for the winter, and then also my work schedule didn't allow me to get any time off either. So this is my first morning that I've hunted rifle season. It'd be in the last week, and this morning I had 5 deer, I believe it was 5, come through on my left-hand side at about 7 o'clock this morning, and it was dark. I couldn't see what they were as far as antlers or does, but I could see the bodies moving through the trees there. And then about 20 minutes later, 7:20, I had a big doe come through on my left-hand side, and she stopped, looked at me, and decided I was okay, and started to walk off. And then I heard this guy grunt. I didn't see him yet. I heard a grunt, and I thought, all right, here comes a buck. So I'm getting ready, and then off to my left side, he comes into my one of my shot lanes there, and he stops and he looks right at me, looks, and then he heard something on the other side, so he turns completely around his head, and he looks the opposite direction. So it'd be a perfect broadside shot. So I pull up my awesome 30-30. No scope, using iron sights, and picked my spot on him where I wanted to hit, and kablam, off it went, and he jumped, kicked, and he ran about 48, maybe 52 yards, something like that, and he crashed, and that was game over for him. So I'm pretty pumped. Got a little spike. It's pretty cool. Had a good time. So I hang him up in the garage, and you know, got a couple days left. I got the next 2 days off, so I'll probably go back out and see if I can get another one. I got 2 tags this year, so we'll see what happens. But fun stuff. Hunting is fun stuff, even when you get a little spike.
So it's about 9:45, and I'm all settled into the cabin, and getting myself a snack, and I want to share something with you. While you guys might understand that I'm burning up my last few vacation hours being up here, because tomorrow's Friday, you might also understand trying to get away when you got family. Well, I'm pretty darn lucky because my wife Brandy makes me chocolate chip cookies when I go hunting. See those chocolate chip cookies? You might have a wife that says, "Why do you have to go hunting? I don't understand why you always have to go hunting. Why are you going away?" My wife says, "Okay, honey, I'll miss you. Here's some cookies." Yeah, that's good stuff. So I'm going to snack on those. And you all have a good night.